We can begin to analyze this data and possibly approach it and make some predictions about where we're headed in the future. We can do this by adding what's called a trend line. And a trend line refers to actually a number of different choices. If we right-click a line, and by the way, we can also do this with column charts and bar charts. I'm going to right-click the line and add a trend line. And immediately in the background, we see a linear trend line. And off to the right, a dialog box, Format Trend Line. Now, if you know something about regression analysis, you have some feel or some knowledge of what these terms exponential, linear, logarithmic, polynomial, power, you might not have used them all, but you have some familiarity with them. This is a statistical way to measure data. Now, without going into a big explanation of it, and I'm not an expert on statistics, a linear analysis of the data here uses mathematical techniques. And along the way, it's also going to provide us with a number called the R-squared factor. And we can display this. This is used possibly as a predictor, also as a way to analyze existing data. So the closer to 1 it is, the better. So some people might say that's a fair number there. Now, if we were to make adjustments to the numbers over time, possibly that will change. We can also make projections based on this. For either one of these, we could consider projecting this line even further. So down below, you'll see forecast forward. I'm going to pick the number 6 here and enter. And now we see this projected 6 months beyond into December of 2016. But what does that point there represent? Now we can certainly stop and point at it and see a pop-up that helps us, but it would be easier if we could attach lines from this point down to the actual date below. And so we can approach this in a couple of different ways. Now, from time to time, I've used this plus button to the right side here showing chart elements in various movies, and almost identical in most cases on the Design tab, the left button, Add Chart Elements. That button and the plus to the right typically show the same choices. I've just clicked the plus. We see the choices there. Let me leave that visible. And then we'll go back to that Add Chart Element off to the left. You start comparing the entries. We do see a few more entries. And the entry we're trying to get to here, the element that we like to be able to use, is called a drop line. And we don't see that at all under Chart Elements. And off to the left, under Add Chart Element, we don't see it either, at least at first, until we come to Lines. And then we see drop lines. And immediately we see them on the chart. And that makes the chart a lot more readable.
Learning doesn't stop here. Discover more expert-led tutorials at LinkedIn Learning. Start your free trial today at linkedin.com/learning.